Courtney, your host, and I'm here this week with Ronit.
Hello.
Ronit is a entrepreneur and mom, so I guess that would make her a mompreneur. Is the new buzzword.
Yeah.
So she's here today to talk to us a little bit about what her business is, as well as how you can make the leap into mompreneurship, if that's what you want to do.
Awesome.
Ready to get started?
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Oh boy.
Should I duck?
It's a tight one.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Hope that's not your favorite carpet. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay, so your business is called League of Moms.
Yes.
And you founded it?
So just January 2018, actually. So League of Moms, I'll give a quick blurb about what it is. So it is a directory of services for moms and moms-to-be, currently focusing on the Greater Toronto Area, so the GTA. And so it's all those things you might need in your journey through becoming pregnant, to having a newborn, to having a toddler. So if you think about your experience, you might have looked for prenatal classes, you might have wanted a doula. Once the baby came, a night nurse, a lactation consultant, a sleep consultant. The list is quite endless of all the things, the services we might need. And so all of those are listed on my website with reviews. So that's kind of the big do different, realizing that moms really want to learn from each other, get reviews from each other. I've kind of put that in one place to hopefully make that process that much easier. So you can go to my website, you can filter on obviously the business or the type of service you're looking for, where they're located, the reviews they've got any deal offerings on the site. So yeah, that's what it is. I like to kind of call it Yelp for moms. So I've got 2 kids. My son is 3.5 years old and my daughter's 16 months. And so when I was on my first mat leave, that was when my shift happened, and where I had that moment of, I'm not sure I can go back to the same full-time job I had before. It was time for a change, and which is when I started my kind of exploration and discovery of what could be next for me. And that's where I really used that year, my mat leave, to enjoy my baby, but also to think about, like, if I wanted to start my own thing, what could that be? And part of that discovery happened being a mom, being on Facebook, hearing other moms ask for referrals. That's where the idea popped up, part of where it came from.
Okay, so for other moms that are kind of interested in thinking about, entrepreneurship, what do you like? Do you recommend that they just kind of wait until the idea comes to them? Should they actively be looking for it? Like, how are they gonna find this idea? Because I think it's so easy to look on social media and see what all these other moms are doing.
For sure.
That's working. I'm gonna do that. But then,
for sure. And I think everyone's story is going to be different. For some people, it's, I have a light bulb moment. That's the idea. I'm going for it. It's a passion point. Nothing's going to stop me. And for others, it's less about the idea, probably, and more about, I need a change. I need to do something for myself. I want to be an entrepreneur to enable a life where perhaps I can drop my kid off at school, go to work, pick up my kid from school, where sometimes that 9 to 5 or 8 to 6 doesn't allow for that. And that was a little bit, I probably fall into all of those buckets. I always knew deep down that I wanted to do something of my own, wanted to be an entrepreneur. My dad was an entrepreneur, so I kind of grew up in that environment. But I didn't have the guts, it really is what it was. And though I had many ideas throughout, there just wasn't the right idea, or I just didn't have the guts at the time to do it.
Right.
And this is going to be the corniest thing I say, but it's really true. But when my son was born, that was kind of the push where, you have this child and you want to teach them and you want to show them, to take risks, take chances, because you want them to be their best selves. But how do you do that without showing them? And that was my part of what drove me to do it and just take the leap, because how can I tell my son to do it, and now my daughter as well, if I don't show them that I'm taking a chance and a leap? And so, yeah, I think everyone's story is going to be a little bit different as to how they end up there, why they end up there. But I definitely suggest doing, research. Don't just jump into anything, whether it be market research or research on a specific company if you're interested in different sales organizations. I think at the end of the day, think about think about what's important to you, what kind of lifestyle you want. Because one type of job, entrepreneurship can be a 24/7 hour job if you want it to be. And so depending on the type of lifestyle you want, that also will dictate the type of job you go after.
Exactly. And you can always start slow while your kids are young to kind of lay the foundation. And then when they kind of get older and a little bit more independent, you can really drive down and focus on the growth then as well.
For sure. And I think a lot of people, and I know myself, I would recommend, the notion of a side hustle is a very popular idea. Yes. And I think it's a safe way to try something, So my approach was exactly that. I got the idea while I was on my first mat leave. And then throughout, between first mat leave and second mat leave, I had a year where I was back at work. But while I was working, I was starting to develop my idea. So develop the website, develop the brand, develop all elements, so that when I went on my second mat leave, I could actually launch it. And so a very safe way to launch it, right? I was on mat leave, had the security of that, and I had the security of going back to a job. And at the end of the mat leave, and I should specify, it's not that I had the successful business at the end of my mat leave that I was able to not go back to work for that reason. It was more that it was just, there was enough signals there that I could take a chance on it. I have a very supportive partner at home. And we did the math, right? We said, could we live with one income for 1 year and see if this works out? And we said, yes, we could, and it's worth it to us. So let's take a chance. And for my happiness and for my not living with regrets, all of it was very much worth it.
So when you were doing it kind of as a side hustle, how did you kind of balance everything, taking care of your kid, going to work full time, maintaining a relationship, maintaining a house, and trying to grow this business?
Yeah, and I mean, I wish I could say I've solved it all. I don't think any of us had. I think, again, it depends on the type of business. So given that I hadn't launched the business yet, and I was building an online business, the hours were really up to me. And so often I would have 6 a.m. conference calls, and I'm not a morning person, but I was that passionate about it that I was willing to do it. So I'd have 6 a.m. conference calls with my developer team to talk about the site. I'd go to my day job and then come home. Between coming home and bedtime, that time was devoted to the kids. But lucky for me, at least my one kid at the time, my son is an early to bed kind of guy. He was in bed by 6:30, so I really had an evening of working, and so that's something it wasn't a hardship for me. I actually really enjoy working. So I didn't need to sit on the couch necessarily watching TV. I do that as well on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
If you're truly passionate about it,
exactly.
Then it's going to be work, but it's going to be fun work. Not all of it's going to be fun work. Some of it you're not going to enjoy, but you can't enjoy every part of every job that you do.
Totally.
But it'll be exciting for you when you come home from work
to
want to work on that too.
That's exactly it. I mean, again, for me, it was definitely a passion project and something I was really excited about and something that I was excited to nurture and build on my own. Coming from a marketing background, I've done that for brands, big brands, but there's definitely something special in starting something on your own from scratch and really hustling to grow it. So that balance was okay. I'd say now it's probably a little bit trickier or wonkier. I don't know. I'm still candidly figuring it out. And again, I think we all are.
Yes.
But between, having 2 kids now and definitely working on this business full time and balancing a relationship with my partner, when all we really want to do after the kids go to bed is probably fall asleep on the couch watching Netflix. We figured out, we make it work. Second corny thing I'll say is the village is quite important. We're very lucky to have, but I have in-laws and I have my mom that are very supportive and helpful. My kids still go to bed early, which is also great. So I do have the evenings to myself to do the work. But it's important to step back too and remember you do have this partnership. And so not working every night on the couch, taking time with your partner, choosing a Saturday night or whatever it is, to make sure you have that time to stay connected. And then also for yourself, self-care. I know that's a hot topic for moms.
Not the buzzword.
Yeah, and the truth is it should be, because we're so bad at taking care of ourselves. Like we really are.
Yeah.
After all those things that we just listed, right? Whether it be the kids, the job, household, you have to fill your bucket. You have to recharge yourself if you're going to be able to keep going. And so, again, I'm really lucky to have a partner that understands that, and we do it for each other. And so for me, refilling is literally taking a few hours away from the family, from the noise of like the children of the household, and kind of doing whatever it is, the chaos, exactly. Doing whatever it is I really enjoy doing.
The next biggest, scariest thing is when you're single and you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have the luxury that if it doesn't work out, you can eat ramen noodles and,
yes.
Live in old ratty clothes. When you have children and a family to support, you need that financial security.
Yes.
So how do you kind of prepare for living with unknown territory when it comes to your finances? And
for sure. So I prepared by making sure what I did know, I knew really well. And what I mean by that is, prior to launching a business, prior to investing any dollars, my husband and I put together a very clear budget. So how much do we spend and how much do we need to live? We know very well, and we actually manage it on a monthly basis. We'll sit down, we'll check in on our expenses for that month and our savings for that month. And so we know exactly how much money is available for extras. And so extras in the past might have gone to a vacation or to, extra pair of shoes, or it might have been, towards our mortgage. But for this year, we kind of said, okay, so we have enough for 1 year for us to live off one salary. And so all those extras may have to go by the wayside, but we're okay with that, because this is a great opportunity for me to try something. It could be more lucrative and fruitful for our family coming after that, or it could just be a great year of learning, and that's still okay with us if nothing came out of it.
Right.
And so that was the first step, really understanding where our finances were and what we could spend on, what we couldn't spend on, and then I had a really good handle on what I could do.
Do you have any official mompreneur tips that you can give to the viewers?
Yeah, so I think my biggest tip for sure is, get yourself out there. Like, don't be afraid to talk to other people, share your idea, learn from others, network, because it's only going to actually make you stronger and better, and an opportunity to really potentially grow, because you're going to be learning from others. And then the second one, which really should be the first one, is the fear. And most reasons people don't dive into something, specifically entrepreneurship, is the fear. And I get it, because that was 100% me. I was that person up until, again, I had my son, and I realized I couldn't live on that fear, because the fear of failure, fear of embarrassing yourself, fear of not achieving the goal you set out to achieve. And all I can say is let it go. Like, there is no better way other than just release it, because
put on some Frozen.
Exactly. Actually, great. Put on some Frozen and sing that song, and then literally let it go, because you will be so much stronger, and you will learn so much just from diving in and jumping in. I can say in the few months that I've officially kind of taken this leap, I've definitely learned so much. My confidence has improved in a way that it hasn't after many years in a corporate setting. And putting myself out there has been the greatest thing. And I will say the fear subsides. So the first scary thing was saying, okay, I'm going to do this. The second scary thing was putting money out to buy that URL. The third scary thing is like telling people that you're going to do this, because then you actually have to do it.
Right. And
so each time that fear gets a little bit less. And that's the biggest thing. Don't let that hold you back, because you really have hopefully nothing to lose. If you're not investing a ton of money, you have not a lot to lose. So those are kind of the two things I would say.
Right. So basically, you got to step outside of your comfort zone, because that's where world class begins.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that.
Nothing fun happens in the comfort zone.
Nothing fun happens in the comfort zone. You're absolutely right. Yeah. You're not having fun. You're not growing. Step out.
So you officially launched League of Moms a year ago.
Yes.
So what are your kind of plans or hopes or goals moving forward with it for the next year?
Yeah, so
and I guess and so on and so on.
Yeah, so for the next year for sure is continuing to grow it. So today there's about 300 businesses on the website, and again focused on the Greater Toronto area. And so my goal is to double that over the next few months, get it to 600 businesses, and continue to grow usage. So hopefully I'm providing a service to moms that they find really valuable, and so continue to drive awareness and drive more moms to the site, which in turn helps them find out about these great businesses, which obviously helps these businesses as well. Most of the businesses, which one of the things that's been really special about this process, which was pretty unexpected, is a lot of the businesses on the website, on League of Moms, are also female mom entrepreneurs, right? So there's photographers and doulas, like I mentioned, lactation consultants, meal providers. So they're all women like us, moms who have looked at their options and wanted to do something a little bit different that worked for their family. And so I love kind of the added benefit of being able to support those moms as I build this website. And so without a doubt, continue to grow it in that way. And then once I tackle Toronto, the goal is to tackle other cities, other markets inevitably. And so that's the vision for the next little bit, for sure.
I was gonna say, after you get Toronto, you can really become the true Yelp, and you can go to Ottawa, and then all of a sudden you're you're all of Canada, and you go on and you pick your city.
You got it. It's a big vision, but I'm excited to think big about it. So yeah,
I feel like that's the most important thing too. Is when you're trying to start, there's always going to be people that are going to put down your ideas and doubt you and try and bring you back to earth because you're out there in space dreaming so big. But you cannot let other people dictate to you how big your dreams are allowed to be.
Totally. No, it's a great point. I mean, for sure, there are going to be people who are naysayers, and at the end of the day, it's up to you and your journey and your vision to hopefully prove them wrong.
So you can find the links to Ronit's website as well as her social media in the description below. And as always, you can find my social media links in the description below as well. And if you haven't yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I will see you back here next week with another mom doing super cool things.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment letting me know what your biggest takeaway was, and share it with your friends. If you loved it, please subscribe, hit that bell to be notified of when I put out a new video, which is every Thursday, and hopefully I'll see you then. Cheers!